Mauritania or Mauretania Tingitana was a Roman province located in the Maghreb, coinciding roughly with the northern part of present-day Morocco. The territory stretched from the northern peninsula opposite Gibraltar to Sala Colonia and Volubilis to the south, and as far east as the Mulucha river. Its capital city was Tingis, which is the modern Tangier. Other major cities of the province were Iulia Valentia Banasa, Septem, Rusadir and Lixus. History. After the death of Ptolemy of Mauritania, the last king of Mauritania in AD 40, Roman Emperor Claudius changed the kingdom Mauritania into two Roman provinces, Mauretania Caesariensis and Mauretania Tingitana. The Mulucha, about 60 kilometers west of modern Oran, Algeria, became the border separating them. The Roman occupation did not extend very far into the continent. In the far west, the southern limit of imperial rule was Volubilis, which was ringed with military camps such as Coinciding slightly to the southeast and Tangier to the northwest, and a fossatum, a defensive ditch. On the Atlantic coast, Sala Colonia was protected by another ditch and a rampart on a line of watchtowers. This was not a continuous line of fortifications. There is no evidence of a defensive wall like the one that protected the turbulent frontier in Britannia at the other extremity of the Roman Empire. Rather, it was a network of forts and ditches that seems to have functioned as a filter. The limes, the word from which the English word limit is derived, protected the areas that were under direct Roman control by funneling contacts with the interior through the major settlements, regulating the links between the nomads and transhumants with the towns and farms of the occupied areas. The same people lived on both sides of these limes, although the population was quite small. Volubilis had perhaps 20,000 inhabitants at most in the 2nd century. On the evidence of inscriptions, only around 10 to 20% of them were of European origin, mainly Spanish. The rest were local. Roman historians considered all of Morocco north of the Atlas Mountains part of the Roman Empire, because in the times of Augustus, Mauritania was a vassal state and its rulers controlled all the areas south of Volubilis. The effective control of Roman legionaries, however, was up to the area of Sala Colonia. Some historians, like Leo Africanus, believe the Roman frontier reached the area of Casablanca, founded by the Romans as a port named Anfa. Indeed, the modern city of Izmir in central Morocco lies on the ancient Azamar, a trading port of Phoenician and later Roman origins. Still today can be seen the remains of a Roman deposit for grain in the so-called Portuguese cisterns. Pliny the Elder described in some detail the area south of the Atlas Mountains. When Gaius Suetonius Paulinus undertook a military expedition in 41, Suetonius Paulinus, whom we have seen consul in our own time, was the first Roman general who advanced a distance of some miles beyond Mount Atlas. He has given us the same information as we have received from other sources with reference to the extraordinary height of this mountain, and at the same time he has stated that all the lower parts about the foot of it are covered with dense and lofty forests composed of trees of species hitherto unknown. The height of these trees, he says, is remarkable. The trunks are without knots, and of a smooth and glossy surface. The foliage is like that of the cypress, and besides sending forth a powerful odor, they are covered with a flossy down, from which, by the aid of art, a fine cloth might easily be manufactured, similar to the textures made from the produce of the silkworm. He informs us that the summit of this mountain is covered with snow even in summer, and says that having arrived there after a march of 10 days, he proceeded some distance beyond it as far as a river which bears the name of Gur, the road being through deserts covered with the black sand, from which rocks that bore the appearance of having been exposed to the action of fire, projected every here and there, located localities rendered quite uninhabitable by the intensity of the heat, as he himself experienced, although it was in the winter season that he visited them. Roman province. During the reign of Juba II, Emperor Augustus had already founded 3 colonias in Mauritania close to the Atlantic coast: Iulia Constantius Ilil, Iulia Valentia Banasa and Iulia Campus Trisbaba. This western part of Mauritania was to become the province called Mauretania Tingitana shortly afterwards. The region remained a part of the Roman Empire until 429, when the Vandals overran the area and Roman administrative presence came to an end. The most important city of Mauretania Tingitana was Volubilis. This city was the administrative and economic center of the province in western Roman Africa. The fertile lands of the province produced many commodities such as grain and olive oil, which were exported to Rome, contributing to the province's wealth and prosperity. Archaeology has documented the presence of a Jewish community in the Roman period. The principal exports from Mauretania Tingitana were purple dyes and valuable woods. Tingitana also supplied Rome with agricultural goods and animals, such as lions and leopards. The native Maori were highly regarded and recruited by the Romans as soldiers, especially as light cavalry. Clementius Valerius Marcellinus is recorded as governor between the 24th of October 277 and the 13th of April 280. According to tradition, the martyrdom of St. Marcellus took place on the 28th of July 298 at Tingis. During the Tetrarchy, Mauretania Tingitana became part of the Diocese of Hispaniae, the Spains, and, by extension, part of the Praetorian Prefecture of the Gauls in the late 4th century. The Notitia Dignitatum shows also, in its military organization, a comes Tingitaniae with a field army composed of 2 legions, 3 vexillations, and 2 auxilia palatina. Flavius Memorius held this office at some point during the middle of the 4th century. However, it is implicit in the source material that there was a single military command for both of the Mauritanian provinces, with the Dux Mauritaniae controlling 7 cohorts and 1 ala. The Germanic Vandals established themselves in the province of Boeotia in 422 AD under the king, Gunderic, and, from there, they carried out raids on Mauretania Tingitana. In 427 AD, the comes Africae, Bonifacius rejected an order of recall from the Emperor Valentinian III, and he defeated an army sent against him. He was less fortunate when a second force was sent in 428 AD. In that year, Gunderic was succeeded by Gaiseric, and Bonifacius invited Gaiseric into Africa, providing a fleet to enable the passage of the Vandals to Tingis and Septem. Bonifacius intended to confine the Vandals to Mauritania, but, once they had crossed the straits, they rejected any control and marched on Carthage. Byzantines. In 533 AD, the Byzantine general Belisarius reconquered the former Diocese of Africa from the Vandals on behalf of the Emperor Justinian I. All the territory west of Caesarea had already been lost by the Vandals to the Berber Maori, but a re-established Dux Mauritania kept a military unit at Septem. This was the last Byzantine outpost in Mauretania Tingitana. The rest of what had been the Roman province was united with the Byzantine part of Andalusia under the name of Praetorian Prefecture of Africa, with Septem as administrative capital. Most of the North African coast was later organized as the civilian Exarchate of Carthage, a special status in view of the outpost defense needs. When the Umayyads conquered all of northern Africa, replacing Christianity and paganism with Islam, both Mauritanias were reunited as the province of Al-Maghreb. This province also included over half of modern Algeria. Romans' presence have left mainly archaeological influence in sites including Volubilis, the site of an administrative center, and the palaces of Gordius, Sala Colonia, Tingis and Iulia Constantius.